Okay, in this session we will do two things. First, we will revise those basic steps we used in SPSS last time, if you remember them, and we will talk like a little bit about them. Then we will move on to your questions. Then we will move on to the next meeting or call, and in that call we will talk about descriptive tools in SPSS. Okay, please don't forget to fill in the attendance sheet. Okay, now we need to move on to the other. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Okay. As you remember, we started with the SPSS with this window. In this window, we can use our already open and prepared training.sav. This works on SPSS. This is the extension for SPSS. Or we take another file and we open the Excel sheets. Okay. For the Excel sheets, do you remember any question that wasn't solved last session about Excel and how to do it? Yeah, I remember, Sara, you wanted to send something to the group. I hope you send it as soon as possible. And now, do you have any question about Excel before we move on to, because we will not revise them otherwise. Okay, then we will move on to our training.sav and we will talk about the things we discussed on that. This is our table. And you remember we have two views, the data view where we have the observations and the variable view when we can see the variables. Those are in rows. If you remember that we talked like every time we opened any sheet, we have the variables in columns, but here they are in rows. Okay? Remember that the names should be continuous, or you use the underscore. You can't use any dash or any space in them. Okay, and the data type you can use between numeric, between several options actually. Numeric is the most important one. Why? Because SPSS understands numbers. It doesn't understand strings. If I put strings, I will put that, but I will need to code them, okay? 1 for male, 2 for females, okay? Sometimes if they are like easy, like those, like autonomous variables, we can use them without like coding them, but make sure to not make any mistake, because sometimes males and males, but one in the capital letter and one in small letter will be defined in two groups, okay? And you don't want these things to happen. Okay, after that we have the width, the decimal, the label. This can be used for a longer name. If you don't want to enter the full name in here, you can put the full name in here and just put a code or like a hint for yourself to remember. For the values, as you remember, when we had zeros and ones, you remember that we added a column for graduated and non-graduated, and we define, like, for example, 3, not, no, and we added. Then every 3 that goes into that column will be understood by SPSS as no. Okay, but we don't have this, so we will remove it. Okay, and if you want to change this, you can change and press change. If you want to add, you go. Okay, I can't. Okay, you can put something else like 4 and add. That will add another one. Okay, which one was the first one? Okay. For the missing data, if you remember, we can put, like, we have no missing values, okay, and we can delete the cells. But SPSS will view that, okay, those cells are deleted, and it will report to you that we have those invalid cells, okay. But here, if you put like 999, SPSS will tell you that we have missing cells in here, okay. We can put a range, for example, anything lower than 0 will not be analyzed because it is not logical, or that doesn't match the test we are doing. Columns and align, those are just for the view, and we move to this. And this is actually important because if you define something as nominal and it is a scale, you will try to do the descriptive statistics that belong to numeric data, and that column won't be viewed in your options. Okay, so this is really important. Before you go on with your analysis, you need to go to this view and check every single variable. Okay, of course they won't be like 18, they will be like 180. Okay, we move back to this. Now, do you have any, please just tell me if you like try them, because this is how it should be. Like, you should practice them at the same time while you are doing them. But if you can't do them right now, just tell me between the sessions so we can solve your problems in the next session. Okay. Do you remember how we created this? Okay, if you remember that, we need to take transform and record into same variable or record into different variable. It's always better to use a different variable. Okay, what I want to code, for example, I will take this long column. Do you have, as you can see here, they can tell you those are categorical, those are scales. Okay, do you have any previous experience? Okay, and I will name the outcome. Change. Okay. Actually, if the name is like shorter, you will have that arrow, and you will see the next name beside it. But now, because of the view, you can't see it. Okay. What are the old and new? Now I can do it again, but yeah. If you remember, last time we took a continuous variable that was numeric. Okay, so we could like tick on range and put here numbers from 1 to 30, put 1 to 30, from 30 to 60, put 30 to 60. Okay, but now we do not have this. We need to write the full sentence. Okay, so I won't write it because I don't remember how it is spelled, but we can put this and put the value as W. Oh, sorry, you can't put values like strings. Okay, remember SPSS understands just numbers. So you will put numbers, and after that, you will define them by coding them afterwards. Okay, I'll tell you how. Okay, we add this. If it is this word, it will give me a 1. Any other word, it will give me a 0. Continue and OK. And don't shut this window down because this is the analysis window. So now you go back and you find this. All of them are zeros because we do not have any match in this column. Okay, and we did this for another one. But how are they viewed like this? And we said that we do not have the option to add any range or anything. We just have the option to put numbers. Okay, remember that when we did that, they weren't viewed like this. They were viewed like this, ones and twos. Okay, and what did we do when we went there? We went to the variable view, we went to the ID, we went here, and we told SPSS that every one means 1 to 30, every 2 means 31 to 60. Okay, so we will do that again here. Every 1 means E. Okay, and every 0 means no match. Okay, now when we go here and you press that button, you will see that every cell is a no match. Okay, so are we fine till here? Perfect. Okay, so now what should we do? We should do some calculations. If you can see here, we have the record, and this record works for like categorizing data, moving them from some way to another, okay? But we can't calculate the numbers, okay? What should we use to calculate numbers? Or if you remember, with Excel, we did it like easily. But here, it is also easy. What should we do? The target variable. What is the target variable? It means like the variable we want to reach, okay? It is RE, okay? Or let's see, ID multiplied by 20. Okay, I need this. So what is the calculation needed to reach that? I take ID, and this is the calculator. I would multiply 20, and we should reach that. Okay, but remember that for every calculation you want to do, for example, for compute and for any other transformation, you have this if. Okay, so you can like I will just take those lower than 10 or those higher than 10. Okay, so you can use also a mix of different calculations and logical tests. Okay, my name has an illegal, and the illegal sign is this, so I will use an underscore. And now I will just sort them so you can see them clearly. And always the column will go after every column. Okay, so we have here the ID multiplied by 20. Okay, you can cut the column and take it to where you want to, because it's sometimes it's easy to paste. Okay, but with paste, what did we do? Like we omitted a column. We need that column. So I will go back. I'll go back again. I will cut that column. What I should do is insert variable, then paste. Okay, remember that because I did that before. I pasted it, and after a while, after 1 or 2 days of full work, I remembered that I need a column, and I searched for the column and I can't find it. And when I remembered, like I inserted a column like above that column and it was omitted. So I had to go back and to reach that column. And actually for that project, it was unfortunate that I didn't have that ID column. So I went back and I repeated every word I've done. Okay? So what else should we do? Okay, if you remember that for Excel, we had every column that should be calculated. And after that, we did the sum or did the mean or did whatever. Okay, in here, you can do the same. For example, for any variable, for example, for that one, if we insert them in the logical tests, like correctly, we will have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and we can use these numbers in the calculator, transforming them again to compute variable. Okay, so is that fine till here? Okay, and you are not facing any problem, and this is actually a very good thing. Okay, then we will move on, and then today we will have a short session. If you don't have any problems, the whole course will be like ended into sessions from now. What are other computations that we can do? Okay, we will go back here, and remember, every time you click on any test, you will have the same calculator, but you will have here some functions. Okay, so and for each one, you will have a lot of functions that are available. Okay, so let's see if we can do the mean. Okay, I will do the same average, and I remember that average was for interest and ability. Okay, so I will average those in that variable. Okay, compute. You will take all, and remember that what I'm telling you is a very basic steps, but of course for any variable or any calculation you want to do, you can search for it in these calculators. This is the mean. We can do the median, and you can see an explanation in here. Okay, so I want to do that, and how should I insert it? You click on it twice. Okay, so at least we need two variables. to be inserted in here. So we will take interest, and remember that button. For anything that you don't want, you can, in here you can erase it, but of course you can also, sorry, I messed it up because like I will take it back and take it again into the cells. I will go here, delete this question mark, and insert ability. And this should match this column. Okay, and we see that they match. Okay. If you don't need those decimals, you go here, decimals, this, you reduce them. Now we don't have them. Okay. I will delay the other functions we will use till the second call, and I will just spend the last few minutes solving your questions. Do you have any problem with the functions we use till here? Okay. Yes, sir.
Can you open the calculator again, please?
This one?
Okay. You said something about this option in the right?
Yeah, the function groups.
Okay. No, the optional case selection condition on the left.
Yeah, the if.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know all the parts of this, and this in here. But what about this? Okay, I will click on it. Include all cases or include some cases. Okay, and remember for SPSS, it was really basic. The if was just for the cases we inserted. But in here, I can make the logical test about another column. Okay, so if another column match something, I will do the calculation for the second column and take the average to a third column. So, for example, I will include just if the sum is lower than 10. I think this makes sense. Okay, and I will continue. Then I have this, and I have, but I should change this because we don't wanna order them. Because if I keep it the same way, it's like replacing a file. It will tell you, okay, there is a file, and do you need to erase the file or omit it and insert the next, the new variable? Okay, now you have another name, and we just have those with the sum lower than 10. We press OK, and hopefully some of them will not have this. Oh, sorry for that. All the sum are lower than 10.
So it's like if I have a group of people and I care about their ages, I would say, like, if their age is above 30, then do this test. If not, don't do this test. To another column, to another variable.
Yeah. If that benefits your project, you can do it. Okay. If you like, if the sum is lower than 5, new, I will just change the name because I don't want all cells to stay there. I will do it, And you can see some of them are calculated and some of them are not. Okay, so this is a function of the if. Okay, so do you have any question or should we proceed? Okay, we will move on to frequencies and descriptive. Okay, I will show you what will happen if I have like raw data like those, like the names. Those shouldn't be analyzed, but if I like analyze them. Okay, now we have the edit. Those are not interesting stuff like find, copy, paste, undo, redo. Okay, the view you will just change the view of the program, and for data we will use some of those like afterwards, but they're not actually so important. And I should tell you like most of those belong to the data, okay, like transpose, sort. Okay, so it's not really important. Select cases, split file, those are all like mentioned in here. So for transform, we knew the most important two functions, the compute and the record. Now for the analyze. Okay, for the analyze, we will just stay working on this till the end of the course. Okay, sometimes we will use graphs. I don't use this direct marketing, and those are not important. Okay, Windows just to move on between Windows help and add-ons. Okay, so for analyze, what is the most important thing that we should do first is the descriptive statistics. Okay, we have two things that are like important for this session: the frequencies and the descriptive statistics. Okay, I will start with frequencies. What does it mean? That means that I will take a variable and I will calculate the frequencies of happening of each option of this variable. Okay, then what should it be applied for? For categorical data actually. So I will take, for example, name, although it is not a good categorical data because each one has, everybody has a different name, okay? And I can see that display frequency tables and I can like remove this, okay? But if I remove this, then the function will not do anything, okay? So I will display it. What are the statistics? Okay, just let us do it and then we will go through those. Okay, those are the frequencies. From every name we have just a frequency of 1 and the percent is 2%. Okay, why? Because we have like 49 in total. What are the valid percent? We will see those when we have missing data, and the cumulative percent is like adding every percentage to the percentage before, and at the end we will have the cumulative percentages of all of them, which should be 100. Remember that this file, if you remember, this file that uses the analysis in it, and this is the same file where I can get the tables that answers my question. Okay, so if I don't save this, I won't save my outcomes, my calculations. Okay, I will save it. Okay, so remember that you should save the original data set and the outcome of your analysis. What should work for us is graduation. So I will apply the same analysis, descriptive frequencies for graduation. And we have a problem in here. I put it like a scale while it is like categorical, okay? But a scale can still be viewed in here, but when we view the descriptive statistics that uses the mean, the variance, and those, you can see that see those variables that are not numeric. Okay, so for graduation, I'll do it. Okay, what do I have here? This is not a 2 by 2 table because I will just have I just have one variable in here. No, not the graduated and the graduated. Remember that when we entered them, we entered 1 and zeros. But here they will interpret SPSS will interpret the numbers into the names of the categories. Okay, and we have a total of 45. Where are the others? Look here. The others are missing. This is the missing code we put, and the frequency is 4, and they excluded them from the percent. Okay, so here you have the frequency. Here we have the percent, including the missing, and here we have the valid percent. What is the valid percent? It means that we exclude those missing variables, those missing observations, and we calculate according to the others. Okay, the cumulative percent is dependent on the valid percent. Okay, so this should be a very good table for the results. And you can see here another small table just for valid and missing. Okay. What should we do right now? We should try for another column that doesn't have missing data like this. And this is a bigger one. We will analyze frequencies. Faculty. What are the statistics I can use? Okay, quartiles. Do you remember the quartiles? When I have ordinal data, I can divide them into quartiles. Okay, but remember that for these options to be like functional, we need to insert the names like numbers and code them, because now he will not understand which is better, like the faculty of medicine and the faculty of pharmacy. But we still can do the frequencies, but I can't use those. Okay, and originally my column is not an ordinal column. Okay, the minimum maximum variance, those can all apply if I have ordinal data. Okay, or although they are continuous. Okay, so we can't use anything from here. Please agree with me. For the charts, what can we use for the faculty? We can use pie chart, for example. What should the SPSS use for this pie chart, the frequencies or the percentages? And you will try those. Okay. The other three things are not important. So you wait a little bit, and now you have your outcomes. Okay. So here we have the statistics, this small table and this big table. It is similar to the last one, but here we do not have any missing data, and that's why we have the percent and the valid percent columns totally equal. Okay, and this is the pie chart. You can't actually change a lot in the shapes and the appearance of the charts in SPSS like other programs, but they are fine. Okay, I should tell you something important. In here, you can save this, but this won't open unless with SPSS. If you want to send the file to somebody else who doesn't have SPSS, you should export, and here it will export to a document, a Word document. Okay, you just browse, define the place you want to go to, and you can save it to PowerPoint, other extensions. Okay, so those are for frequencies. Then how should I analyze the ID? Let's think that IDs can be analyzed. What should I do to them? I will take analyze, descriptive, but in here it makes no sense to take frequencies, right? Because it will take one and it will tell me that one occurred one time, two occurred one time, okay? And this makes no sense. But if I take descriptive, they will just show me those scales and those categorical data that I mistakenly classified as categorical, okay? Remember that those are like numbers from 1 to 6 as I remember, but I didn't tell SPSS. Are those numbers for codes? Okay, then I should code them. I should tell them 1 stands for no communication, 2 stands for less communication, 3 stands for high communication, and so on. Okay, for example. But now SPSS doesn't know what those columns are. So it will put them here. For the ID, I'll take the ID, put it in here. What are the options? Yeah, just let us try it first. Okay, now as a standardized descriptive table, we will have this ID, the number of participants, the minimum, the maximum, and the mean. Here we have the standard deviation. Okay, those are the numbers we usually need for our results. Okay, so what are the other options I might need? I will take this column. I will take descriptive. I should return this and take this. Okay, what are my options? I will need the sum, for example. I need the variance, the range, the standard error of the mean. This is another variable that can be calculated. It's similar to standard deviation. It calculates the variance, okay? I will need the kurtosis, skewness. If you remember, in some papers, we saw those, okay? So, okay, and how should be the display order of them? Okay, alphabetical order, variable list as they are in here, ascending, descending. Okay, but that doesn't apply in here because they are ordered in ascending and variable list. Okay, so I will take this, and you can see in here what happened. Yeah, here we have the number. They added the range, minimum, maximum, sum, mean, statistics is statistics. Yeah, for each calculation, they put the mean and the standard error. For the standard deviation, we do not have because it applies to that mean also. Okay, for the variance, okay, skewness, kurtosis. Okay, standard error doesn't have another column that it says for here, but it comes for the mean because we usually say that the mean and its standard error, or skewness and its standard error, or kurtosis and its standard error. But for standard deviation, that doesn't apply. Okay, I can give you a sample and I tell you, can you calculate the standard deviation for this sample? And you tell me, okay, yeah, I can do it. But you can't do the standard error for a sample unless you know what is the outcome. Okay, so you can see in here the standard error of the mean, the standard error of for skewness and for kurtosis. Okay, so what are the other options I can do? For example, I will take this random numbers. Okay, I will do descriptive. I'm using different columns in order to make you like see different stuff. Random number. Yeah. Options. No, we don't. What is? Okay, I will show you how to do some charts. Okay, but now you can take it from the same descriptive. Okay, we will take it from graphs. But for now, till here, do you have any questions? I forgot something. For the frequencies, I'll take also the faculties. I will show you bar charts. Don't use histograms because histograms are usually for continuous data. Here we have faculty dentistry. This is a bar chart. Okay, what is the difference between a bar chart and a histogram? It's actually the space in here. In a histogram, we have continuous data, and it cuts them into small pieces and raise columns on these pieces. But in here, we do not have continuous. We have just points allocated for different outcomes and columns allocated to them. Okay. We do not have any space in between them, so those bars will not come close to each other. Okay, if you have no questions, we will move on. We will take descriptive. Sorry, I wanted to show you some graphs. I want to do the analysis descriptive, as you see. But here we have that option, save standardized value as variables. Okay, what should this do? Actually, it will give me the same table as the last time, but it will add another column. What this column will do is, you can see it in here. This column gives me the Z value for each number. And what does that mean? I will stop sharing a little bit. Yeah. If you remember the normal distribution, we had the variables that the observations distributed on that normal distribution. Okay, so for the first person, it goes to the mean. For the next person, it goes to the mean. For the third one, it goes like one standard deviation of this third one, the fourth one, and so on. So we have that standard deviation. But how can I define the situation of each of those numbers in regard to the normal distribution? Okay, if I want to tell you that I'm standing there, what should I tell you? I'm standing two standard deviation up, two standard deviation down. If you remember that, so we have the mean, we have the starting point, and I tell you that I'm standing there or here. Okay, this is called the Z value. Okay, so the Z value, if it is 2, if it equals 2 plus 2, then I'm two standard deviations up to the mean. If it is minus 2, I'm two standard deviations down from the mean. Okay, and so on. If I'm at 1.5, then I'm between the 1 and 2 standard deviations. So here you can see that this person, for example, is 1.1 minus 2, the standard deviation to the mean. Those are higher in comparison to the mean, and so on. Okay, so what do I need this column for? I need the outliers. So I will sort ascending for those
You're
two.
not sharing.
Yeah. Okay. Here. we have that column. I just sorted them ascendingly. So here we have the first two rows. What are they? They are the lowest numbers. Okay, so those are the furthest cases from the mean towards the zero. Okay, towards the left, and those are the highest values that I can exclude because they are outliers. Okay, I won't exclude because I just entered those variables, but for example, when I apply it to that random number, I will show you how it will do it. We do not care about this table because it's similar to the last one, but what I do care about is this. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I took the same variable. I should take the random number. Okay. Now you can see it clearly. Okay. For those, all of them are lower in less than one standard deviation. So I know that the mean is really close to the lowest numbers. Okay, but what are the highest numbers? We have one number that is 5 standard deviations up from the mean. So for those three, they are real outliers. Do you agree? All the others just stand between the standard deviation, just a little bit higher, a little bit lower. Okay, but none of those have like 2, 3, and 5 standard deviation up. I will show you their numbers. 4,000, 4,000, 7,000. Okay, while the other numbers, all of them are like in hundreds. Okay, so this is how we like classify outliers and rule them out. I will take the chart builder. Okay, and my mistake was that I took the bar chart, not the bar chart, actually the histogram. I take the histogram, put it in here. Okay, this is a histogram, but what I needed to do is to take one of the variables. I just forgot that I didn't. I thought like this is taking them, but actually I need to take the sum and put it in here, so I can see the distribution of the sum. Okay, this is the histogram for the sum. Okay, and I press OK, and now I have the histogram for the sum. What can I do more than this? Yeah, graphs, chart builder. I will take, for example, the random error, random number, put it in here. I can put display the normal curve. You can change them, of course, but I thought the problem is in here. Well, actually, I didn't insert any variable in this. I just saw that we have a histogram in here, and I didn't insert any variable. So I inserted that normal curve, and you can see our values do not actually match that normal curve. If you remember, we said that for that random error, for that random number, we have just 3 outliers, and those actually the 3 outliers, this one and those 2, and the others are all around this area, like between 0 and 100. Okay, but those are like higher than 6,000 and higher than 4,000. Okay, so what we wanted to do is like to exclude those variables, those observations that are really high. So I will go back, I will go to them. Here's the random number. I will delete those three. Okay, I'll take the graphs again, chart builder. Okay, I'll take a histogram and random number. It is in here. Display normal curve. Apply. Okay. Now you can see that the scale changed. In here, it is from 0 to 8,000. In here, it's from 0 to 800. And all my numbers are distributed in here. Of course, we have a lot of numbers between 0 and 50.